Buckland Clayson, how you boys doing?
Oh, yeah.
I'm doing good.
Welcome to the podcast, brothers. You just came across country, Clayson.
Yes, sir.
Cross country, Buck.
The Iron Mill.
That's right, son. You guys, you going back home after the break? Back to NorCal or North Carolina?
Yep, next week.
Wow. What's it like being so far away from home? You get homesick?
No, because there ain't nothing at home. Nothing at home for me at all. No opportunity there, but, I mean, didn't realize that till you get out here, obviously.
True. How about you, Clayson?
I don't get homesick, no.
Where's home at?
Idaho.
Where did door-to-door take you?
I've worked in Cali, worked in Florida, worked in Texas. I think those are the only 3 states.
Really?
Yeah.
Idaho's dope.
I wish I could go. I want to get those ski slopes down.
It's only a 12-hour drive.
Are you
boys.
serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
Not bad.
Yeah, I went to Idaho this year. It was beautiful. Well, not Idaho.
Utah?
No, wherever I went for the director's retreat in Bronze Buffalo. I have no idea.
That was in Idaho?
Idaho, yeah.
Dude, that looked fun. You guys went on a ranch?
Yeah, but, I mean, you see mountains and stuff, and it's like you want to go hunt it, but, like, you can't.
It looked like they were teaching y'all how to shoot.
Yeah,
what was that all
you
about?
ain't really got the tools to, like, you see a mountain, and I'm just like, dang, I want to get my pack, get a gun, and just go rough it. But, like, you can't go to that area like that and just do it.
Yeah.
Because you're on vacation, essentially.
You do a lot of hunting, like in the off season. Are you gonna do?
I'm pumped.
Yeah.
Pumped.
What do you hunt? Just
Man,
bucks?
what do you mean what I hunt?
Bucks, elks,
No, just whitetail.
whitetails?
Yeah.
Nice.
Telling you, though, bro, I would love to write a book on deer hunting.
Why?
Because just like, I'm telling you, look, everybody laughs, but just like solar, like I explain to y'all all the time, you take it as far as you want. Like, you're only capped to what you cap yourself with. Mm-hmm. Like, you can learn so much under solar if you choose to teach yourself. It's the same way with hunting. Like, there's so many different factors into it. Hey, how are you playing the wind? How are you doing morning hunts? Where's your thermals rising? Are you hunting in thick country, open country? How close do you need to be to the deer? What a big deer do? Like, actual, not like stuff that you just see on TV, like big, tall fence ranches. Like, if you actually want to kill like a massive, like 3 to 4 to 5 year old mature deer, they are smart. Like, they will walk past a place that you just walked by, smell your footprint from like 4 hours earlier, and they will never come back to that mountain.
Wow.
They're like untouchable. And they know that they get hunted during the daytime. So what do you think they do? 90% of their activity is at night. When can you not hunt? At night. So,
is that like illegal or is that just impossible to pull off?
It's very illegal.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Are you one of those guys when you go hunting, like you get something every time?
No, God, no.
Can y'all turn that fan off?
I know a
I'm
guy
hearing
like
it in
that.
the background. Just
No.
press a little power
It,
button.
it also depends on the area you're in. Like, you can go to, related to solar, right? You can go to a low-income turf as a setter and rip 5 sets a day. But same thing, you can go to a place out on the East Coast that's got cornfields, soybean fields, all this different stuff, and kill does and little spikes and 2.5-year-old bucks. Just like a low-income turf, you'll get 3, 4, or 5 kilowatts like crazy. But if you want to kill like a big deer, like a mature deer, are you going to be able to go into $1 million neighborhoods and rip a big system? Same thing in solar. Same thing in hunting.
So what's the $1 million neighborhood when it comes to hunting?
Idaho, baby.
Well, I mean, yes, but like if you relate it to North Carolina, because it kind of gets tough to like hunt out of state, you have to be a state resident to like make it easy. But going to game lands, which is not baited, it's illegal to bait, actually.
That's actually what I heard is that a
Yeah.
lot of hunting is done like baiting, like where they practically raise them in an
Yeah.
area.
Correct.
And then they come to their feeders and then it bop.
That's how it is on private land. But going out into game lands where you don't have a four-wheeler, you literally have to hoof it, like what me and Ryan Pop did last year. We walked 4 hours in the morning before we even got to the spot where we were going.
That's crazy, man.
And the only way I knew how to get to the spot was like old topo maps that my uncle told me about he used to go to back in the 80s. And literally where I have a stand set up, you can see his old wooden stand 40 foot up in a tree that he went out there and like hammered up with a hammer and nail.
How does he pull out all the wood to construct that? I mean, is he driving trucks out there?
No, he hiked it in there. So like him and his buddies back in the day, they would drive the road that you can drive on, and like when you're looking at a map on how to hunt, you can sit there and look at like how fingers run off of mountains. Like the flatter areas, when it's coming off of a mountain and it flats out, what do you think a deer is going to cross across? They're going to cross across the steep part, or they're going to cross the flat part. So you can kind of see how a mountain will lay out and how a deer would travel compared to a rock face or somewhere where they could actually walk.
They travel flat. They don't travel.
I mean, they can't walk up a brick wall. They're not mountain goats.
Oh, a brick. Yeah.
Not a brick wall, but you get what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. But there is some terrain in the country. It's just flat like crazy. So.
Dude, that's pretty cool. How's California? You hunted here before? No. I tried with my dad. It was very scary. It's a lot of doe. I mean, we couldn't find a buck anywhere.
I sold one guy this year, and he told me, he was funny. He was like, yeah, he's like, he had like a gun safe, and he was kind of like a redneck too, which you don't see in California much. And I asked him, I was like, I see a camo pack right there. I was like, I see a gun safe. You hunt? And he was like, yeah, I hunt up in the mountains. He was like, all the deer taste like crap though. All they eat is sagebrush.
That's funny, man.
Yeah.
I'd love to go, man. The only time we went, we didn't get nothing. Crazy though is that as we were driving down, a buck came right across the road.
That's how it happens.
Literally a deer caught in headlights.
I know, that's how it
and
happens.
then my dad's getting out of the car with a pistol.
Bro, there's
he turned off the headlights and it was gone. And he's like, I can't believe I turned off the headlights.
There's so many times, and my dad used to troll me for it. Like the first year that I went back as a setter, because November and December it's hunting season. Like I was in heaven, you know. I would literally wake up at 4:30 a.m. to drive like back in the deep mountains, like I'm saying, like rich turf, you know, where you're going to have an opportunity of killing a big deer, and sit there all day long and not see anything but a squirrel. Like I'll see birds and squirrels, won't see one deer, not a doe, not a buck, not anything. And I'll come home and I'd drive to his house in our little field out there. We'd have 2 does just standing there.
Man,
like in the middle of the night. It happened like every single day.
It's crazy.
So I mean, hunting's just you go find a good spot where there's traffic, and you're just waiting for something to cross your path. That's it.
Yes and no, but if you go to a spot too many times, your ground scent and people scent will be there.
Well, don't you cover yourself in like my cat? Dang, you ever cover yourself in like
that's all,
odor
bro,
stuff?
That's all fake.
all that Bass Pro Shop.
That's all
stuff.
That's all gimmicky.
All the movies.
Yeah.
Stuff. Yeah,
it's gimmicky.
That's how Arnold Schwarzenegger got away from the Predator, man. Covered himself in mud. I thought that worked for me.
Like stuff like that will actually work. Like natural stuff. Like they make blenders now that you can grind up like pine straws with and leaves and sticks and mix it with water and spray it like that would actually work. But all the stuff is done in the lab now.
That's pretty cool. You ever run into any bears when you're hunting?
Yeah, I had a big bear last year. I was
pull that thing closer. There's a lot of echo. Do me a favor. You got to pull it up. Now talking to it.
I was baiting.
Dude, you hear the difference right there? Oh my goodness. Yeah.
I was baiting, and a bear would show up 30 minutes before dark, and it would just lay at the corn pile. It would pass out. It would wake up and eat. It would use the bathroom there, pass out again, wake up and eat, and as soon as it get daylight, it'd disappear.
You're saying at the corn pile?
Yeah.
Man.
I couldn't wait to kill him.
I mean, do the deer avoid that?
Bear are actually smarter than deer.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, can you hunt bears? Is that illegal?
Yeah, you can hunt bears, but they're hard. They're hard to hunt.
Why? Because they don't die.
Yeah, their sense of smell is better than a deer.
But if you feed a bear in a spot, won't it come back?
Yes, but then again, like they're smart. Like wild animals are smart. They don't want to die. They know that they get hunted.
Yeah, I've only seen a bear like twice, and the one I saw it really close. We were at Silver Lake Campground. Have you ever been in the Sonoras? When you go up NorCal, man, you got to try these Sonoras. These big mountains here in Cali. But bottom line is that I mean, even if you know how you go to China Peak, there's like a pass through the mountains where you live. Yeah, up on the east side of the Sonoras, that's when you're like on your way to that edge of it's not Arizona or Nevada. What's right about it is Nevada. It's a piece of Nevada. But if you're going to Big Bear, not Big Bear, Mammoth. You guys been to Mammoth? You heard of that spot? The snowboard park? Yeah, Mammoth. Yeah, up there on that north side of the Sonoras, there's a Silver Lake, and we were just camping, like one of those youth camp type things, like with cabins. And I mean, those bears came and just raid the dumpsters. Like, they
Oh,
know
yeah,
that
yeah,
they're
yeah.
safe. And
Yeah.
a big old black bear. And I was like, man, that thing is huge. I couldn't even believe what I was looking at.
Yeah, so after a while, like if they're in a certain area and they know they're not going to die, like I mean, it's kind of cruel saying that, but they know like there's no chance of like somebody coming out and, you know, shooting them, then they get very comfortable. Like there's a place we're going to go 2 weeks from now in West Virginia. It's been bow hunting only for the past 40 years. Deer don't even know what a gunshot is.
Why is it bow hunting only?
It's just the law there. So like you'll see giant deer walk within, like you'll see them like crazy during the rut, but it's very hard to kill them because bow and arrow, you can shoot accurately up to like 40 yards.
Right.
Get 40 yards within a wild animal, like it's pretty tough.
Right.
Yeah, 40 yards. Wow, dude, that's like 70 feet.
That's
That's
dope.
nothing. That's crazy.
Yeah, compared to like 250 with a gun.
That sounds fun.
And I can't believe I just said 70 feet. No, it's 120 feet. But seriously, I mean, what's the farthest you've gotten a hit with a gun when you were hunting? And how you go hunting a lot too?
No, not 100.
No, dude. What I wanted to do, I keep hearing about it, is in Texas they do a lot of hog hunting,
Yeah.
like hunting hogs. I would love it. And
Out
I
of the
heard
hel-
that's very
Out
dangerous.
of the helicopters.
Yeah. That's
Okay, well,
not-
that's expensive. I mean, helicopter hunting would be awesome, but
Or
When-
they just like do the
Yeah.
turrets.
Yeah,
It's
you-
like,
it's like a service, and then they feed the
'cause they're
homeless with it.
invasive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are.
That's the whole thing.
Those things are killers, man. But I'd love to. I want to hunt something. I mean, this is really bad. I don't know if I should admit this, but you know, we're buying airsoft guns and stuff, and I keep one in the car just in case I see like squirrels or crows or stray cats.
More people on the team.
Yeah.
Yeah, or you see a wild Clayson
Yeah.
hopping up in his TRX. Oh man, dude, you and your brother have been in some crazy. Look, you still got the scar on your nose,
He
man.
got me good with that shotgun right in the face.
Dude, it's
Boom.
you guys struggling with guys showing up on time a little bit recently. I saw you're like holding out food for the first 10 people and stuff.
Yeah, just because the end of the year, bro, like people's mindset get to where they think like, oh, maybe next year I didn't hit my goals this year. They know
Yeah.
they ain't going to be able to complete their goals within a week. So it's kind of just like pulling teeth here at the end of the year.
So what do you think is a good balance between positive and negative reinforcement? When it comes to being late, I'm very heavy on like the negative reinforcement. And but it comes across positive because the rule is if you're over 5 minutes late, we literally go into this backyard. They line up with their heads behind their back like this, and it's just airsoft.
Oh no, that's
that's
smart because me and Adamson here at the end of the year, we got air horns. Like it used to be, do push-ups, okay, but correlation would be running. Guys would sneak in the back, do their push-ups, nobody know they're late. So it's kind of cruel to say, but it's like public embarrassment.
Yeah,
of
yeah.
what you're doing.
Yeah.
To where like at the end of the day, I mean, when I was at Tyson Foods, I had a mandatory meeting that I had to be at every single morning at 6:30 a.m. And I was a general manager, similar to like how I'm a director here. Like I have to lead by example. I can't be showing up late and then sit there and tell my people, hey, it's fine to be late. So if I missed one time, it was the only warning you get. If you missed 2 times or you were even a minute late, you would be suspended. 3 times you're fired.
suspended without pay too.
Yep, suspended without pay.
Wow.
So it's like when you look at a realization of like that, where hey, you come from $100,000 job and that's the expectations. It's like you have the opportunity to make $1 million at this job, and you're still not showing up on time for someone who's grinding their tail off for 6 figures. I mean, it's just it's kind of crazy.
Well, people take this opportunity for granted,
100%. It's actually been recent. The success I've seen this year.
Mm-hmm.
Now every time when you're running credit in Everbright and you ask them what's your average annual income, every time I see and they're like 60, I'm like, dude, are you serious? And you own a house? Man,
Yeah.
what am I doing, bro?
It's insane.
It just hurts more and more. When I'm like, man, I've made more than you, and man, I don't feel like I have my life put together yet. You know? I can't even say a paycheck is what defines that discipline you're talking about, because literally guys out there are making less than us, and they've got more punctuality, more determination, more discipline, and they're doing it for less. It's how do you feel like you can get that realization of an opportunity across to a setter? Is it just by showing your checks? Is it by them seeing their own checks? What do you feel like gets that? someone bought in?
Realistically, it's not only like the story behind me that all y'all know, but it's just the opportunity that can change from like a financial standpoint. Because I went from low-key fighting depression to being where I'm at now, on top of being able to just make money and not even worry about money. And it's not so much not worrying about money, it's just the realization from a setter saying, like, me, you, Gideon, even Clayson. I don't know Clayson's background as much as what y'all do, but he was setting one day. Me and you were knocking on doors 2.5 years ago. Like, literally what we're telling people we did 2.5 years ago. So just like I was telling your guys in there, I barely graduated college. I was an idiot in high school. And there's nothing that separates me from anybody else other than just, dude, I get obsessed. Like Nolan, who recruited you. The biggest asset I've ever took from Nolan is he says, get obsessed. So what does obsession mean? Okay. Is it, you're obsessed from 9 to 5, or you're obsessed for 24 hours a day, 365 days a year? You wake up, you think about solar. You go to sleep, you think about solar. If you sit there and have to have a checkout time, then you're not obsessed. That's what it comes down to. You have to be obsessed to where you love it and you don't hate it. You cannot get obsessed about something that you hate. So first thing is, do you like what you're doing? Okay, understand the facts of what you're doing, on how you're saving people money, on how you're helping out their financial situation and your situation. Okay, so get in something that you feel like you're doing good, you're doing a good service. And then really believe in that. And I even did this as a setter. Like, I figured out what I was talking about and how solar could help people. And then you get obsessed about it. And then all of a sudden you stop paying attention to money. And then all of a sudden the money starts coming and you start growing within, and growing as not only a person, but as a human being as well. And teaching others to grow under you just like that.
Do you ever have moments being in this job where like you kind of lost the obsession? Like you had to, like, was it always there from the start, or where was that point where you took that advice finally? Were you starting to get tired of this job ever?
I don't think I ever got tired of it. I definitely have been to a point to where I'm like, man, I'm wore out. And kind of like I don't want to say it, but my negative voice, I'll put it that way. I call it something else, but I ain't going to say it. But my negative voice has been able to take over my positive voice. And at the end of the day, life's a sale. I heard you say this before as well. And you're either selling yourself on how something isn't possible, or selling yourself on something how it is possible.
Yeah, the best salesmen are people who they sell themselves and believe in what they're doing.
Yeah. I literally texted Antonio the other day because I've been selling lights out all year, like trying to take as many appointments as possible. If I can't take appointments, I'm passing them off. Like 6 days a week, like I'm on the doors. Like I'm making sure that I'm hitting appointments. It's not like, hey, I'm taking today off. I try to squeeze in as much as possible, and even I've told you and Gideon, hey, Sundays is like my background day. It's like my clerical day. Sunday morning, go to church, do something nice with my wife, but she knows Sunday night, as soon as it gets 5 or 6 o'clock, I got to get to work on payroll.
Yeah.
Got to get to work on payroll. Got to get all my background stuff, because come Monday, it's time for all the crap I have to put up with on Mondays, and I also have closes on Mondays as well. So. I done lost track. What was the question again?
I actually think you had a great segue right there. It wasn't much of a question, but I mean, we were talking about where your mental block, where you locked in, and you decided to become obsessed. Here's one thing that I had trouble with when I started, and I'd like to hear if you had the same thing, but it was like balancing the job and my relationship with my wife. Is I would struggle to break away from the job and show any attention to Lacey. And so recently, what's actually helped a lot is that now she works with us, like very involved.
Yeah.
As our backender. And I know that you were similar, where like Ashley was a flight attendant before working so involved. How is working with your wife as a partner, how has that affected your relationship? You know what I mean?
It's tough. It's definitely helped us grow closer. 100% as her being a backender and her being like an assistant, kind of helping me with like, hey, these guys need help printing out slicks, or like I'm flying this guy out. Can you take care of the flights? I mean, I pay her a premium back-end fee.
You guys have separate bank accounts?
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, we don't really share expenses or anything. But I mean, we don't ask each other for stuff either. She knows if she needs money, she knows where to go. I know if I need money, I know where to go.
That's actually kind of interesting, man.
Yeah, we've never shared a bank account.
How do you budget in your taxes? Is this too deep? I'm just wondering for my taxes, because, dude, I like to file jointly, and I practically have the same bank account with her.
We just got a CPA.
What is
You use
that?
Tyler?
Yeah, I just got him.
Yeah, I use him too.
Dude, I need Tyler.
Yeah.
For real. I mean,
I just got him, and he's going to save me a lot. But
Yeah.
two separate LLCs, because she does. Dude, another thing with, did my wife sit there and question this job at first? Absolutely. Like, and that was another motivational piece to sit there and say, like, hey, I need to figure this out, and I don't have a year. I don't have, even 2 to 3 months. Like, I need to make shockwaves immediately, because I already came from kind of like a dark place when I quit my last job, but I quit a job for $100,000. Okay. Sold a house. She believed in me to come out here. The last thing I was going to do is give her any doubt. So starting out, it was tough for her. She was having to fly out of San Francisco up in Tracy, which was already a headache and a half, commute for her job. She wasn't involved in the office. She kind of looks at a sales job like it's silly. I mean, she didn't really know what to expect out of it. So I had to put on right off rip. But then, like going throughout being a setter, captain, closer, she started to believe in me more and more, and said, like, dang, she was glad that she pushed me into doing it. First year as a closer, is having her as a backender really did make her more involved in Jungle U and in the office 100%. So that helped. But now, for everything that I know around installers, financiers, and stuff, and she does so many other accounts, sometimes I do have to take a deep breath because I'm so strict. Like, I'll be very strict on her, and then I'll just kind of like sit back and be like, dang, I need to be thankful for this, and like maybe repeat myself one more time compared
like being
to
her boss. Like,
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Instead of like, hey, she did something wrong, like blowing up on her, kind of taking a deep breath and sit there and say, like, hey, I am lucky to have this situation. Maybe I need to just re-explain this. Like, what's the point of getting mad?
Yeah, for real. Any mistake that's ever been made in terms of like building the proposals and stuff, it's hard to like it's hard to tell your wife you've done something wrong.
Yeah.
That does not, it can't be framed that way.
No,
it's tricky.
Yeah. Me and Clayson can't relate with the relationship stuff.
No.
You guys aren't like dating right now?
Nah. I can't speak for him. I can't speak for this guy.
But to go back to your question, have I ever got tired of this job? I think the answer actually is no, because I'm 30 years old and I know there's no time to waste.
One thing I was going to say with that, something that's helped me recently with just like staying like, I guess like consistent and like, just really appreciating the job is just gratitude of like, I feel like if I don't go have that obsession, I'm not going all in all the time. It's like I almost feel like ungrateful to like what God has given me, It's like we've been given a great opportunity, and it's like if we're taking it for granted and we're just kind of slacking off, it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
it's like it's like a slap in the face of the creator who's presented it to you.
Does it feel temporary to you, to any of you? Does this job ever come across like you don't know? That's really what's been weighing in the back of my mind this year, is I see it going one of two ways. Like, Edison's going up so fast, the demand's going to be a lot higher for solar moving in, and when the demand gets really high, there's just there's that off chance that like something out of our power will be changed about the commission or the job itself. And so, are you guys setting up any sort of safety nets? Are you guys just using that as motivation to go all in completely 100%? I mean, I saw you just bought a house, right? Mm-hmm. So like, what are some of the investments you guys are making?
I mean, I want to end up eventually, getting into real estate, Airbnbs, kind of owning properties to have a lot of passive income. But in regards of like, do I think solar's going to be around forever? No. I mean, it's not going to take a genius to figure that out. Eventually, all new homes come with solar. Eventually, the solar market will start to die down in California because so many people have solar. It will move to other states, but let's hypothetically say, hey, solar is dead come 2025. Okay, this is how I look at it now. God has not only put solar in my life. Solar is just the product that we're doing. What he's put in my life is he has put the Silvas in my life. He's put Russo in my life. He's put Nolan in my life, Jordan Benning, all these other people, you, Gideon, Clayson, Rat Trap, Andrew Fuller, like so many assets of like successful people that's just winners. At the end of the day, if we got to go out and sell satellite dishes, you think there's going to be any better crew to sell satellite dishes other than us?
Great point.
Like,
yeah.
So
what if we're going to be selling those Tesla bots, man?
Yeah.
I'm about to have those guys knock doors for me in a minute.
Yeah. It's
so,
just
30,000 Tesla bot. Hey, go pass my business card out for like 150 homes real quick.
It's just, man, like if it dies out, bro, like it's I mean, the people that we're surrounding ourselves with and if we affiliate with ourselves with now, it's just
Yeah, shout out our leadership for real. Yeah, we're blessed
Yeah.
with great leaders. You know, a great network of guys, and yeah, I think that you can't kind of nailed it on the head there. It's like this opportunity is temporary, right? But it's like the skill set and who we've become in the process. We could go into any field and tackle it head on, you know, because we've just developed that work ethic, that skill set in any sales job. Because sales is a priceless skill.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's good because you're pretty much saying that it's not really like the product that makes the opportunity. It's the leadership and the people you're with. And a lot of guys, even Taylor McCarthy said it, man, like when you're looking for a team to sell with, you need to look who's the leader.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that goes way past the product. And how about that for you, Clayson? Like I see you had a lot of opportunities, a lot of experience. Like, you know, what's brought you to this opportunity? What do you see?
I mean, I originally started with manual labor. I was in the oil fields, and I was
What?
Yeah, I did that for a year. I committed for a year, and
What do you mean committed? You have like a contract that you have to be on or something?
Basically, my grandpa's cousin has his own rig out there, and so I jumped on that, and I was
Whoa. Your grandpa's cousin, he owns a rig.
Well, like heating trucks, yeah. So
Now
he
that's
owns,
an
like,
investment. What if we bought an oil rig? You know what I'm saying?
You would not believe how much money they make in an hour.
That's what I'm thinking.
So it's like $800 an hour, and he's got like 27 trucks, so it's a lot. But just to like give you perspective there, it's when you get on out there after you get trained, it's like $5,000 a week, so it's really good money. But like, I remember hitting the winter, and I'm watching this guy's truck because I was called a swamper, so I'd watch the truck, and I'm watching his truck, and all of a sudden it all shuts down, and it's so cold out there, it's like -30. And I had to go restart the truck, get the coil started, run fluid down the hoses to get the ice because it just froze instantly. So I'm doing all this by myself, and at the same time, I'm just listening on my phone. My phone's playing music and stuff. And I get done, get back in my truck, and I'm freezing. And I'm looking at this thing that a guy from Radix had actually posted, and it's a solar check, and it says like $30,000, and then the dates were like a week. And I was like, what am I doing? Like, because it's $5,000 a week, or I mean, to go just, you know, talk to people, use your brain, use your mouth, use your words to make this kind of money is a lot different than having to go out there and grind to make the same amount. So
What, $5,000 a week for
I
a
was gonna
year?
say $5,000 a week.
Is that not 250,000?
yeah, I mean, it's a high paying job. It really is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, dude, that's amazing. Well, that's how you see this opportunity is real then.
Right. It really is. I mean, how long can you actually do that realistically? You know?
Well, you tell me. Like, what was your hours like? Like, what?
24 hours a day. I mean, sometimes you get back to your hotel, you're there in an hour, and your boss could call you and say,
Why is it a hotel?
hey, man. I mean, you could live at a house, but housing's paid for. You get per diem. Like, it's a lot of, I mean, you do shifts, right? So it's a hitch. So it's 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. But since I only committed for a year, I was doing 8-week hitches and then 2 weeks off because I was like, I want to make as much money as I can being out here because I'm only going to do it a year. All those other guys, though, they're doing 2 on, 2 off. But they're in their heads, it's like, this is for life.
Right.
And you know, look at these hands. They're soft. Like, every time I'd go, like, hey, Clayson, can you go change the oil in this truck today? And they're just,
it's crazy.
they're just country boys, you know.
I mean,
and I'm just like,
that really just shows like the magnitude of the opportunity. Like they had like another guy quit. Yaz quit at the medical field, right?
Oh, I thought you were about to say he quit solar. I was like,
No.
what in the news to me? No, okay, yeah, he quit being a doctor, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
that's
amazing.
a super high paying job for this opportunity right here.
Yeah,
you know?
for real.
So that speaks for itself, you know.
And so then when you've gone to other solar opportunities in terms of like team structures and stuff.
sure. This is like when I started, I sat in Texas for a year, and one of mine and Gideon's mentors, I would say, transferred over to Rise when it was called Rise before New Sun.
I remember. Yeah, we were there.
Yeah. And he was like, Clayson, dude, you got to come here. It's totally different. And we went, and the structure was crazy. Like, honestly, compared to our office before, it was just like, whoa, you know.
The structure at Jungle, the structure at Rise was crazy?
Yeah, just like such a different way to like, it was just like electric, you know what I mean? Like the management was just a lot more upbeat than what we came from. and I don't know, just throwing out crazy incentives. It was like we're doing the same job, right? But for some reason, like there was so much more money over on this side. Like it was like, what is happening, you know? And so, yeah, I would say New Sun definitely has been the most consistent out of most solar companies I've seen, for sure. Just with checks, setters getting paid. Setters getting paid big checks, setter captain checks. Those are crazy to see too as well. Just, yeah.
And they always need fast checks. I
Right.
think that's the thing that solar struggles with the most. It's a very delayed gratification when it comes to your work. And so, I mean, and then how do you measure that out in your head? Like when you're getting recruits and stuff, like, and that goes for you too, Buck. Like, I mean, when we first start out, I'm thinking, okay, I want to get paid next week and then installs, and I'm kind of have to shoot for a really big goal so I don't worry about next week's check.
This is a little bit deep, but the reason why, I mean, it's so easy to talk to guys from other solar companies, especially guys who are looking for the instant gratification for setter checks, because every other solar dealer pays out on install. They'll sit there and be like, oh, yeah, you know, we don't do like the pay scale. We do 50-50 split. Well, you're working with an installer that installs in 2.5 months and then don't pay you out till PTO, which is another 2 months later. Like, yeah, you're making 50%, but what's the chances of that setter still working there 4.5 months down the road when he's not made any money at all? And what's to stop that closer who closed the deal to sit there and run away with all your money? That's what I've heard so many times again. And people will say, well, this company's bad. It's like their structure was horrible. Their structure is not set up to be able to grow people and get setters paid. It's set up to sit there and, make big solar checks for only the juggernauts who stick it out for 5 to 6 months. It's working with a terrible installer that does not get glass up on the roof, and that installer don't pay out until PTO because they're a very small installer. And then if the installer don't even get it to PTO, then all the money's lost. So it's just like, that's one thing I am privileged to be around. It's and that's why I speak all the time. Like, God brought all the people in my life, and he also brought New Sun in my life, because you've seen it yourself, Gideon, Clayson. There's so many people that do solar. There's so many dealers that do solar, and so many failing solar dealers as well. Like, I really believe that he put the best opportunity for a solar door-to-door sales job, everything lined up. I am in the best opportunity possible. So,
Amen.
yeah.
For real. Yeah, what I'm kind of seeing, just watching it and watching the guys who stick, is that I mean, the setters, they're working the more exhausting part of this job. And so when you work an exhaustive, like, manual labor job, you need some instant gratification to keep the gas tank full.
Yeah.
And then the closing part of the job is probably the more skill difficulty of the job, and I think it's more draining.
Yeah.
Because draining and exhausting are two different, like, I don't know how to explain it. If I'm exhausted, I need to sleep it off and I'm ready to go. But when I'm drained, sometimes, like, getting up the next day and then getting my, like, brain ready to close again.
Oh, dude, there used to be, like, days in July during that setter competition with Angela. I'd be sitting in, like, 5 closes. And, like, the close at 8:30 at night. And, like, for example, hey, solar is like, going from Shell gasoline to Costco gas. You're getting kilowatt hours at a cheaper price. It would come out like, hey, going solar's like going from Costco to Costco gas. You're getting cheaper power. And I'd be like, what is going on? Like, I'd snap in myself and I'd be like, hey, wake up. Like, what are you doing?
I was slurring my words in like my third appointment last night. And I was like, dude, my words aren't even enunciating right now. I felt drunk. It was weird.
Yeah, sometimes, like, you'll start to get, like, tongue twisted or something. And, I mean, good thing is most people can realize that they're doing it themselves. And if you're at that closer position, you're good to hold yourself accountable. So you're just like, hey, what did I just say? Wake the hell up and, like, get after it. But it is mentally exhausting.
Yeah.
Coffee is my new best friend.
For real. And it helps you fast because that caffeine shuts off your appetite.
What are those pouches that you found? Those caffeine pouches?
Yeah, it's like coffee in like a Zen form.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Oh, that's interesting. You just hold it under your tongue?
They even taste like coffee.
Oh, that's sick.
That's crazy.
It's like the coffee grounds in your mouth and it's brewing in your saliva.
Yeah.
Money. I love it.
Right.
You spitting it out too?
No, I swallow it.
Dude, hook me up, man. That sounds sweet. So, man, dude, honestly, I want to hear about the if you don't I want to hear about this new house you got. Like, what's are you gonna like go live in that? Is that like
Yeah, I live in it November and December. It's right between.
Dude.
It's like 2 or 3 miles from my parents' house.
So is this gonna be like a retiring home for you, or
No, it's just going to be like investment property essentially. So Airbnb market, you hear Airbnb and you think vacation property. Well,
Right.
who the heck wants to go to Morganton, North Carolina for vacation? Nobody. But
you sell
I
me
had
on it? I will.
Yeah, I had a buddy last year that I stayed in his Airbnb. It was like some old crap house that he ended up fixing up, and I asked him. I was like, at first I said, well, I'm just going to rent this house out all year long because that's probably the best way to do it, right? And he was like, no, man. He was like, dude, Airbnb. He was like, and you're on a major highway. He was like, you need to Airbnb that out all day. He was like, you'll make twice the amount of money. I said, how is that? Just like what Clayson was saying with, hey, he had a hotel contract work that he's coming in. There's so many people that do like contract work like that in medical fields that have families and stuff that want to travel with them. And they'll sit there and say, hey, I'm going to book this house for 2 months. And you don't have to worry about them staying in there for a year long, screwing crap up. Or people say stay in it for a week. They're only in there for a week, and then they come in, and the amount of money that you can make, it's just insane.
Wow, man, that might be the move. That might be the move. I hear Florida's a good spot. I mean, I was looking up Tennessee, like housing. I mean, you're seeing like 4 bedrooms for $150.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how is that possible?
I
And
wish I found that.
Huh?
I said, I wish I found that.
What's the market like in North Carolina?
So I bought it from one of my college buddies. I went to high school with him.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And he bought it from an older buddy of mine. The housing market's ridiculous. He bought it, my older buddy, which his name was Justin, bought it for $120,000, like back in like 2014.
What are the specs? Bedrooms?
It's like a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. The house was built in like the 60s or like 50s. I can't remember. This was before it was renovated. It was just, all original. My buddy bought it for $160 back in like 2018, 2019. I can't remember. No, it might have been before that. 2017, I think. $160. He renovated it, redid the kitchen, redid the inside, like made it look nice, but it's still an old house. Like the bones are still, ancient. I bought it for $280.
Oh, wow.
Double.
120 to 160 to 280.
Wow. Is that inflation like California, or is that
It's just the housing market.
Wow.
It's crazy.
I actually got outbid. I got outbid for $300,000. Or no, $320,000.
Yeah,
But they
yeah.
came in saying like, "Oh, you need a new roof. You need this. You need this. You need to move out immediately." And my buddy hit me up. He was like, "Hey, bro, we should have judged you the whole time."
Yeah.
And there was 3 other offers that was $280 as well. It's insane.
Well, truthfully, it's better than Cali, but at the same time, I have a guy. He was the dean at my college at one point. His name's Josh Montana. He started selling solar in North Carolina, and he was
Yeah.
trying to get me to go out there. This was like last summer.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, what are you guys doing? He's like, it's loans only, but, they're making, I don't know. He's making checks. And I was like, is North Carolina a market like that?
I don't understand it. I really don't. I mean, maybe there's something I'm missing, but like my best setter, Samaj, he actually knocked on my father-in-law's door.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, trying to sell solar. I went to my father-in-law's during summer, trees everywhere. I look at his power bill, 11 cents per kilowatt hour. Wow. And I'm just like, how? Like, I don't see how people, okay, if you're selling a loan, even if it is one-to-one net metering, you're selling a loan for more than what you're paying for your power. You have to manipulate tax credits correctly with your CPA, because tax credits, it's not like you get a big check back. You have to play it out correctly.
Right.
I mean, tax credits, your bill's going to be, it's a bigger loan when you get a tax credit,
and
right?
it's just so, I don't know. I don't understand how people sell solar in. I mean, don't get me wrong. I sell value, but I never tell someone that they're going to be paying, $100 more a month for the same amount of power that they're getting from the utility company. I've upsold people on like, hey, more power. We've all done that.
Yep.
But even when I sell on value, like, heck, I'm still saving them a little bit of money.
Yeah. Or you sell long-term savings. So.
Yeah.
So they're probably just selling them on the idea of going green.
Yeah, I don't know. I counted the other day. I've sold a total of 350 solar accounts in the past 2 years, and I've sold one person that cared about the environment.
Nice. Wow, way to keep track of that environment, guy.
Donald Forsyth.
Remember him?
Gideon knows him. Never installed. Never installed because it was a legacy deal.
Oh, man.
Unfortunately, yeah.
That was.
I remember those.
Oh my gosh. Let's not go to that.
I never sold a battery with Legacy ever. It was 150% offsets, 14 cents a kilowatt. That was my summer as a closer with Legacy.
I hated them.
I feel okay about it. I don't feel like I ripped anybody off because I'm still dropping their bill by 50 to $100.
Yeah, because daytime,
giving them a surplus of power.
Yeah, say daytime power is only 80%. Most people use their power during the daytime. 14 cent. You get time of use prime. 23 cent for nighttime.
Yeah, and you're getting that surplus.
It's a steal. Tell me one person that you've seen 23 cent even with care. It's a steal.
Yeah, especially right now. Because
And
right
then
now
when-
they're at
yeah.
14 cents.
Then when you average out 14 cent to 23 cent, heck, what are they at? 16, 17 cent? It's still a great deal.
Yeah.
Even if it was, which I don't think it's as bad as what you think because you gave them 150%.
It's not. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it was a 2.9% escalator with them too.
Yeah.
The-
GG
I
to
rem-
that.
Dude, I remember when I remember the meeting where we introduced Everbright, and I think it was you who said you're like it's 3.9%. I said what? 3.9 what? Ooh, that's an EPC bump right there, and there's no difference. People, all I do to get that 3.9 to look tiny is you just bring up the market. And this was taught to me by Khalid, honestly one of the most solid dudes, but. I'm always just like, you break down the pain, and I say, here's the biggest problem with Edison. It's a variable interest. And I say, you guys look like you take care of your money. When you do bills, you guys do fixed interest, right? Like the house and the car, right? And I'm like, when you bought the house, what interest did you guys score, And if they're lucky, they'll say like 3%. But most people right now, it's like the 6 to 7, 8%. We're like, dang, or 4%. I go, yeah, most loans are 4, 5, 6%, and your Edison bill is 15. This year it's in, and then it's in that bill. The screenshot you had is 22.5% this year and next. Mm-hmm. So like we're gonna drop you all the way down to 3.9% flat, and then once you even if you're selling another solar loan, you're gonna sell 4.99, or 5.99. So you're getting a lower interest than even a loan. Makes total sense. People think zero escalator in a loan, but the interest is there.
Yeah,
so.
I added it up for Gideon the other day. He was calling me about like undercutting a loan, and somebody was talking about like total payments or whatever. I said, Gideon, just pull up a loan calculator. Pull up a 25-year loan, 5% interest rate at what was it, like 50,000, and like total payments was going to end up being like 91,000. Well, total payments with the 3.9% increase was still going to be less, and then you have maintenance and repairs. That person was going to have to end up getting another battery after the 10-year manufacturer warranty ran out on that battery. So I was like, you're still saving money. Like, I still have zero idea why someone wants a loan.
Correct.
It blows my mind when somebody tells me that they want a loan. I'm like, you cannot sit there and validate that Solar Edge, Canadian Solar, Q-Cells, even though they've been in the market forever, is going to stay in business 10 years down the road.
Yeah.
Because if they go out of business, do you think GoodLeap, the bank, or Mosaic, the bank, still wants their money? Absolutely. They're a bank. That's how they make their money. They could care less if your solar system's working or not. They just helped you go solar. So that's all on you. So good luck.
Yeah, they got that debt leverage.
Yeah.
Well, I've actually, that very topic you're talking about, I've been able to realize that everybody knows the cheapest way to get solar is to buy it in cash.
Yeah.
And so if you do like a prepaid cash, you're at 8 cents a kilowatt value or whatever. But I've been able to show through. I love that everybody has a graph of the depreciated value over 25 years. And so I have found that homeowners actually, the renting the panels and all that, like you don't own it, is actually less satisfying. What they love about that is the maintenance aspect of it.
Yeah.
But always stressing that you have the option to own it any time. You're pretty much telling them you're eliminating the risk of early move out. But when you do have your stay, you're getting, and I say it now like this, I say you're getting your panels at cash value. The 3.9% is low, and then the tax credits are already given to the company, so that's how the cent per kilowatt's down. So then when you show them the value, like if it's 6 or 5 kilowatt, it's usually like 40 or 50,000, depending on your EPC. But at the end of the day, I just show them, I go like, yeah, this is what panels would cost at cash value, but you don't have that extra cash. So let's say you have it for 5-10 years, and then you come in a little extra cash, you could buy that thing and own it.
Yeah.
And that makes sense for them because at a loan value, it's going to be bigger than a PPA.
So I looked at a lease the other day because Adamson had a customer, and he was like, hey, he signed him up with Sunrun PPA. He had a customer that was like, hey, A guy's telling me a Sunrun lease is better. What's the difference between a lease and a loan? I actually had a customer send me a lease contract to where I could review it. And I tell you, when it was identical, it was identical. And the biggest...
Identical to what?
The PPA.
No. Oh, the lease?
The lease to the PPA still, dude, buyout, production guarantee, and everything. But the biggest difference, and literally it was 99% the same, but the 1% that was different was the production guarantee. So the production guarantee with every PPA, like 5 years down the road, the price chases the utility. Because if the system don't produce, you're going to end up getting an excess bill from the utility, right? So
And you get reimbursement.
yeah,
from the
so your
company.
reimbursement should be your utility price. Guess what Sunruns was for the entire 25 years? 13 cents per kilowatt hour.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you don't even get full reimbursement.
No, it wasn't full reimbursement. And I was like, why would they even do leases? The reason why they do leases is because there's some areas that are lease only. PPAs aren't allowed. Like LADWP, you can't do a PPA. It's only leases and loans.
I love that you guys call it LADWP.
What is it?
People just call it DWP.
Oh, well.
Just help you learn the lingo. But
No.
my father-in-law works for DWP. So
Yeah.
I think you can only do 100% offset there, or am I tripping? Offsets are normal? In Moval, they had this
I don't know.
Moval
I've
utility.
never done it. Yeah, Moval is. Most places are like that. You're right.
Yeah, they limit you at 100%. I could never get a sale for that because people always want cushion.
I know.
But yeah, DWP is interesting. Man, well, that's a wild. I just want to know what these out-of-state markets look like. It's like we kind of alluded to earlier that of California. I mean, I'm literally, like with the income that's starting to spike a little bit, I'm kind of looking out of state for homes, and I want to pick an out-of-state home where I would choose to go next in solar. Right now, I'm leaning toward Texas a little bit. I don't know how prevalent solar is there, and I don't know what the community structures look like.
It's big.
Well, do the community structures look like this? Are they cookie cutters or are they like properties?
They're bigger, I'd say, but they're still cookie cutters.
Yeah, I'd like to just buy homes almost in like areas that I could go, like start
Yeah.
reaping the benefits, and then you got.
I know I tried one in Texas and it was not it at all. I was even reaching out to Jordan and I was like, because I was trying to run a light reach PPA there, and it was they were going to be paying more for $100 a kilowatt payout, and I was like,
Yeah.
I asked him, I was like, what do people do over there? He's like, it's all loans, and I'm like, dude.
Well, here's the thing too: is that that's a red state. You came from Illinois. That's a blue state, and the more blue you go, the higher your inflation. That's just the truth, though.
I know.
No, and that's just the truth. So it's like
Somebody-
in Illinois, what was that market like when it comes to inflation and stuff?
I mean, it's definitely up there. It's getting there. But I would say, like, the same thing with, I don't know, any other state. I still say Cali's still the land of milk and honey.
Oh, for sure. We got to get there eventually. Almost, maybe Trump's going to almost not help our business. That's what I like tell homeowners.
I know.
I go, yeah, I mean, we're all kind of sick of this, but if anything, hey, it's good for my business because
Yeah.
people can't stop looking into solar because of it.
Yeah, now that I think about it, all the red states have the lowest utility rates. Even like Hawaii,
Yeah.
where I was at, like it's
Yeah.
the highest utility rates in America.
It's because of tariffs, man. If you even
Yeah.
read that CPUC once or any of those NEM agreements, you're looking at the reason power costs. It's just tariffs. You're paying for power that's not local.
Yeah.
And all these states were pushing for like local energy. And even that's what Elon wants to do, which is going to be crazy too. If they get away with this whole, I don't know if you guys, who sent that in the chat recently, putting solar panels over freeways. Did you see someone send that article?
I don't know.
Dude, if that happened, I mean, we'd be out of business, man. Because then now they just have what they have here. I don't know when the last time you were here in Palmdale, Lancaster, but they don't pay full Edison rate. They have two bills.
Yeah.
You've seen it?
Yeah, a lot of places are like that. San Jacinto down the roads like that.
San Jacinto does that now.
Yeah,
I never saw
San
that.
Jacinto did that last year.
I never saw that.
And then there's a bunch of different areas like that.
Really?
Yeah, where they'll have two bills, and it's actually more expensive.
Yeah.
Like people's like, oh, you have two bills, and
No,
it's
no,
like
no, no,
cheaper,
no.
like one 16-cent,
I know what
another
you're
is
talking about.
15 cent.
I'm not talking about two literal different bills.
Uh-huh.
On the Edison bill, there's two charges, not two bills. I remember what you're talking about. There was a...
There's a generation charge, and then there's a
I'd have to show you it after this, but there is a SCE part in the billing summary where they get charged by SCE, and it's on a discounted rate, 18 to 28 cents, and it's on every bill out here, 18 to 28 cents. That's the domestic SCE. And then there's a second charge, and in Palmdale, it's called Palmdale Choice, and it says Epic Generation.
yeah, it's the same thing. I know what you're talking about.
It's on the same bill though.
Yeah, I
you
know.
know. And then in Lancaster, here it's Lancaster Energy, and
yeah,
so
it's the same bill, but it's 2 separate charges.
correct. But what that is they're pulling from the privately owned solar grids
That's what
out
I
here in this
figured.
valley. That's
Yeah.
what it is. So they share the energy with the city, and it comes at a doubled rate
Yeah.
alongside Edison.
know.
Which I think that's what would happen with the freeways and stuff. So I mean, we'll see how it goes.
Like I said, I ain't worried about it.
Yeah.
If it happens, it happens. What's next?
Yeah. Okay. Well, what is next for this coming year? What do you see as like a vision of like, you're growing the Mambas. It's, I mean, man, seeing your journey is, again, you don't just write a book on deer hunting, please. Write a book on the man behind the gun.
Yeah.
But in terms of
That's a good book name.
the man behind
The
the
man
gun.
behind the gun. I like that.
All right. You're going to have to give me a royalty on that one.
You get a royalty. What's that dude on Shark Tank? Kevin.
Yeah.
What's his
He
name?
loves his
Kevin O'Leary.
royalties. He loves them.
Yeah, I'll give you a royalty, Kevin.
Thanks, bro. And if it's man behind the scope, that counts too.
Yeah,
but
that's pretty nice.
Either way, what's your vision for the Mambas? What have you seen as a manager of other leaders? Because you're like a leader of leaders now.
Yeah.
And even with us, you're leading us from over the hill, man. Like, what's your vision as a leader? What's your vision as growth? And what have you learned, man?
Well, eventually, I mean, y'all know Russo, so he's literally laid the asphalt for me to kind of grow into what I am. I've seen somebody do it firsthand. So obviously, my goal is going to be to beat him as an organization, and to be able to do that, we have to outperform him on installs, just like what I was telling you about. There's some people that do great on installs. There's some people that don't do as great on installs. So my goal next year is taking those closers from an educational standpoint on how actually solar works, to be able to start being more educational in a close that I feel like will reflect more towards installs, because it's just like, a college professor, like instructing on how it's going to go and how solar works for their home and how it's actually going to fit. Another goal is, obviously I won't hit it this year, but I want to make $1 million just to where I can say I did it. That's not really like my main goal, but it's going to be a goal that comes along with it. And then next is to have a subgroup, which is like the Iron Mill, We Outside with Rat Trap, the Mob with Andrew and them. Am I missing anybody? I'm missing one.
Najee's group.
Najee's group, Maida, and then Mika Padres, which is John's.
John who?
John Smith.
Oh, he's got a group?
Yeah, he's had
Who's
a
his group?
It was
Just his setters?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm saying eventually a group like that end up being able to grow into their own organization and break off into their own organization, because it's not just, hey, Chris Buckland runs the Mambas and he has this and he does this. It's just like what I wanted for the Silvas. I wanted them to stop closing. I wanted to be able to fall into their shoes. Okay, that's how growth happens. It needs to be to where y'all's mindset should sit there and say, I want Buckland to stop closing, because I want to be able to take over what he's done. So the ladder of leadership can keep growing, keep advancing. And I want every group throughout the Mambas to be able to break off into their own organization, obviously when they hit the metrics and they're ready to be able to do it. Because just like what I told you about that check the other day, I was like, bro, that's the biggest Mamba check from a closer on the team. And dude, it shocked me when I saw it, because me and you've had plenty of conversations around selling value, and I just saw that and I was like, wow, like knowing, what's the word I'm looking for? Knowing that I played a role, whether I played 1% in it, whether I played 99% in it, knowing that I played a role in that really just shows me that like God put me here for a reason. So,
Well, thank you for that, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really appreciate you have a leadership that wants to see everybody grow from it,
Yeah.
not just yourself.
No, it's not about me. And Gideon knows this, working with me last year. Obviously, me and you didn't work together, but we worked alongside each other. I'm never a guy to sit there and say, like, oh, look at me, raise my hands, like I'm him, I'm the king, or stuff like that. Like, bro, like, don't even give me recognition. Like, I'll have recognition with my wife, like, behind closed doors. Like, I don't want to sit there and say, like, hey, I'm deserving of this, because as soon as you start sitting there saying that you're deserving of something is the first step towards failing and not being able to succeed.
Pride
Like,
comes before
yeah.
the fall.
Sitting there taking gratitude in something is just realistically my win. I would rather not get an award than to fail, which is kind of weird to say.
Well, it's good that you have gotten the awards, man, because it definitely backs it up, dude.
Yeah.
You got like, what was it, number one rookie or sophomore last year? What was that? You had like, I mean, you've been on like
number one
something.
sophomore in Jungle U, yeah, but not in New Sun.
Oh, okay. Well, Jungle U, I mean, kind of runs New Sun. So
Yeah,
at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You got the bat.
I mean, it was a top 10 setters.
Yeah.
First year.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, and then last year I didn't get anything. This year I should, but I mean, like I said, I'm not gonna act like I'm deserving of it. But I don't feel like I deserve anything until I hit my goal of 1 million, and then I'll sit there and say like, yeah, I did what very few was able to do.
That's cool, man. Yeah, I'd like to see just growth everywhere. And I just want to see sustainability too. I think that when we talk about the uncertainty of the future, I always think like, man, what does that uncertainty feel like for a setter he's not making that, he's just not making, the 6 figures just yet. He's on the cusp of it, but I wonder how much that uncertainty plays into his everyday life. Time window's closing, and I want to get these guys all on the train. You know? And okay, so like Vic and Will, for example, they just did Jungle Exotics. I thought that was such a smart move. I mean, what an inspiration to they're buying supercars, and then you take that, and now they just branched off and did a luxury car rental business. That's actually wild, and they were able to branch that with their name. That's kind of what I'm hoping for the Iron Mill. I think this name's taken like probably a year to develop. It was going to be Iron Sharpen Iron podcast when I was like a sophomore in college, and
The
then
Crusaders.
The Crusaders, yeah, that was like a test run on something, and I knew it was close, but I've always felt that
the Iron Mill is perfect.
Yeah, the Iron Sharpen Iron, but I want it to stretch to more than a solar business. I don't know where it's going to lead yet. I don't know. I mean, I suggested one of our guys that I would go in and I would open a barbershop and let him run a barbershop for me. I want to have different businesses, so maybe I could have a barbershop business, and it could be called the Iron Mill same way. And I want to jump in real estate though, so I'm looking at guys like you, honestly, that like I can like kind of follow examples on how did you execute it.
Yeah,
I mean, you just got that.
I'm not there yet. Like one house does not make me there at all.
Well, I've got none, so you're ahead of me, bro.
But no, so what I look at is like obviously, yeah, real estate. I want to get into something else like that because just like we know, like, hey, at the end of the day, we don't want to stay knocking on doors forever, doing house calls, appointments, and all stuff like that. But while we're in this field currently, you need to make as much money as possible because the way that you're able to jump into other things, like what the Silvas did with exotics and what they're going to be doing with Silva, which is their clothing stuff, is they've made a ton of money in solar. A ton.
And then just reinvest.
So they're able to reinvest that into other businesses to see what else can succeed. And I don't feel like it's smart to full-fledged into something else until something has been set up on autopilot, or I'd sit there and said like, hey, I've done all I can do in solar currently. Silvas, they have Jungle U on autopilot. Right or wrong?
That's right. I mean, they've found enough leaders to just run it for them.
Exactly. They have it on autopilot to where they're able to take their focus on other things, to where they can sit there and say, hey, Buckland, hey, Tommy, Gideon, Russo, Trey, Keyshawn, I need y'all to do this, and they don't even have to think about it getting done because they know it's going to get done. So that's why I'm sitting there saying, like, hey, I want someone to break off into their own organization, is because I know the gratitude will be there to where you have, like, warriors going throughout life compared to just someone who helps you make money. At the end of the day, if you don't pay attention to money and you're paying attention to friendship and surrounding yourself with winners and leaders to where you know that you're going to succeed together, you stop questioning money. You just need to get things done, and getting things done relates to you making money. So,
wow,
It's fire.
yeah, man. I remember I felt that connection with you, bro, when we started knocking in Paris. Do you remember that? We went to Paris or Menifee, that area.
oh yeah, we used to pray before. Yeah,
That's right. There's that little restaurant at the BMX track, and we'd meet there, or we'd meet at a park down the street, and we just sit and pray. And I was like, man, that's how I knew that you were someone that I could trust, because I mean, when you find a brother in Christ, I don't really have to. The Bible talks about a verse says that the Spirit beareth witness of itself. You can feel the Holy Spirit with someone else. That's kind of why, like, I mean, you naturally, not to saying you won't get along with everybody, but more like someone who doesn't have the Holy Spirit, they'll naturally be more abrasive with a Christian, just because they're. I mean, not all the time, you know what I'm saying? But it's just in tight situations, you're not trying to find a way to compromise or edify somebody. You're just finding a way to be on top of someone else. And I will never forget, man. I just remember you pulling up and you were on your mission, bro, but we had to pray and we had to put it in God's hands. That's always stuck out to me, man. It's awesome. It's just a cool thing I think back to.
Yeah, and I mean, when you were talking about like how do you go through the uncertainty as a setter, it's exactly what we did. Yeah. Like you have no idea what you're getting yourself into. Yeah. And it don't matter like if you turn to, just like your new guys, like Damien looking at Sergio, how long have they known each other?
Dude, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So where was our connection?
Yeah, just through the job, man.
It was through the job and through the Lord.
Exactly.
So we had a connection to turn to the Lord and sit there and say we know it was in His hands, and whatever's going to happen is going to happen. All we can do is control the controllables and not distract ourselves with things that we didn't need to be distracted by. Like in regards of, like there's so many people you see it, like drinking, smoking on the weekends, chasing around women, like partying all weekend long, especially in LA now where our office is at. And it's just like, dude, like why are you wasting those gifts that God gave you and not taking advantage of the time that you're here on earth? You only have maybe 80 years to live in life. So why are you wasting the time and the opportunity that's in front of you?
Wow.
I don't know.
That's a mic drop, man. Seriously. Well, yeah, man, it's coming up on time to get to an appointment, man. So honestly, bro, thank you for jumping on the podcast. Hope we can have you again, man.
Yeah, I feel like I talked my head off, though.
That's the whole point. We're all talking, man. It was awesome. We loved it, man. And so anyway, hopefully we can get a round 2, man. Like when the next season starts up, hear about your vacation, you're hunting. Yep. You got to take us on a hunting trip.
Do one in Mexico.
Huh?
They bring the mics to Mexico.
Dude, we might have to, actually.
Yeah, Santana's going to be doing some filming and stuff.
Oh, snap. That's actually what I'm in the market for. I'm looking for a guy to film everything. It's just some of these things, man, these moments, just, man, they're unforgettable. If you can catch them on film, dude, it's fun to relive those moments.
Oh, especially at the doors.
Yeah, it helps with gratitude. Yeah. Especially at the door. It helps with gratitude because sometimes when everything seems too hard, I go back to the Instagram and I look at all these setters and all the things. I'm like, that's what I'm doing the hard part for. So I can look back and be satisfied with the hard work, man. So yeah, I'm gonna look back. We're gonna see some clips on this too. I'm excited, man.
Alrighty,
man. Goodbye, everybody.